in one of the most exciting regions of the world, where innovation, ambition, and lifestyle collide. You'll find one of Australia's leading universities, Griffith University. Griffith has a remarkable reputation for learning, leadership, and innovation, and a vision to be one of the most influential universities in Australia and the Asia-Pacific region. With 6 campuses, 50,000 students, 200,000 graduates across 130 nationalities, and over 4,000 staff. We're ranked in the top 2% of universities worldwide. Our research is world-class and is shaping a better future for all. Our teachers are the most awarded in Australia. Our MBA is ranked among the best. And our famous Queensland College of Art is one of Australia's most respected. At Griffith, learning is creative, collaborative, and adapts to ever-changing needs. Our focus is global. And at home, our campuses are thriving and expanding. We stay ahead of the technology curve, offering the most modern facilities and learning spaces, and an inclusive and inspiring atmosphere. We're creating graduates of influence. And we go beyond the classroom by partnering with industry leaders to provide placements that best prepare students for the future world of work. At Griffith, we believe in, strive for, and celebrate the remarkable people who better their world and the world around them. Remarkable experiences that transform people and communities. Remarkable scholarship that provides a world-class education and outstanding student experience. And the remarkable impact of our research that improves the lives of others near and far. Be inspired, be engaged, be remarkable. Griffith University.
Graduands, families and friends, in a few moments, the graduation ceremony will commence with the academic procession. I will signal you when you are to stand and ask that you remain standing until all members of the Sage Party are seated.
Graduands, families and friends, welcome to the Griffith University graduation ceremony for graduates of Arts, Education and Law. My name's Professor Scott Harrison, the Acting Pro-Vice-Chancellor for Arts, Education and Law, and I will be your Master of Ceremonies for this morning's presentations. At today's ceremony, we celebrate our students' achievements, and we would like you to support each student as they are presented. We also ask that you show your support for our graduates by remaining in your seats during the ceremony and silencing all mobile devices. Graduands and guests, the Chancellor, Mr. Henry Spurden AM, will now address us.
Professor Carolyn Evans, Vice-Chancellor and President, Mr. Chris Stewart, members of the Griffith University Council, distinguished guests, colleagues, and of course, graduands. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet and pay my respects to the elders, past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. On behalf of the Council of Griffith University, I warmly welcome you all to this celebration of achievement and the conferral of academic awards. I'm also delighted to welcome Mr. Chris Stewart, Artistic Director of the Brisbane Powerhouse, who has very generously agreed to give the occasional address. Graduation ceremonies have a long and proud tradition in the university sector, going back some hundreds of years. Since our inception, Griffith University has certainly embraced such ceremonies, and they are one of the highlights of our academic calendar. Graduation ceremony is, of course, quite a formal occasion. It is where we come together to celebrate academic success and to recognise the commitment and effort that is required of our graduates to achieve that success. Our graduates at this ceremony are from the Arts, Education and Law group. At this point, I would also acknowledge and thank the many relatives and friends who have joined our graduates here today. I'm sure you have played a great part in their success. I'm also sure that they are very appreciative of your support and encouragement. As a university, we are committed to ensuring that our graduates who are receiving an academic award today are career-ready and equipped to make a substantial and positive impact on our society, whether in their chosen field or more broadly. Many will have already had the opportunity to experience a work environment, not just locally but overseas as well. Participating employers see the advantage and benefits of a partnership with universities, as the graduates they employ are more likely to hit the ground running, so to speak. While work experience is important, our graduates have been exposed in their time at the university to some of the best teachers and researchers one could possibly imagine. As an example, Griffith University staff have been named Australian University of the Year, Teacher of the Year on 4 occasions since 2007. This is a tribute to and a recognition of the quality of our staff and their commitment to students. One of the outcomes of having great teachers and researchers is that there is a greater recognition of the quality of our university. In the major world ranking series that are published annually, Griffith is now ranked in the top 200 to 300. I should mention that there are more than 18,000 higher education institutions in the world. Griffith is also particularly proud of the fact that in the case of hospitality and tourism management and nursing and midwifery, we are ranked in the top 10 universities in the world. So let me not forget our great researchers. I want to mention our researchers' success in 2 fields. In 2019, the publication Nature published breakthrough research by Griffith researchers, which measured how fast an electron could travel through a barrier. Interesting, you might say, as I did. But its importance is that potentially it will require a rewrite of modern physics textbooks. Griffith researchers have also made great progress with our stem cell research, with recent media reports reflecting on the significant progress being made. The capacity of that research to make a world of difference to people with spinal cord injuries is indeed very exciting. Griffith has been and always will be an institution driven by values. They are embedded in our curriculum and culture. The university recently completed a major strategic review of the university, led by our Vice-Chancellor and President, Professor Carolyn Evans. The resulting 2020-2025 strategic plan was recently approved by Council and has been embraced enthusiastically by all members of the Griffith community. I mention this because one of the key findings of the process was the importance of our values to the whole community. Since its foundation, Griffith has had a strong commitment to academic innovation and interdisciplinarity. Workplace challenges and deep societal issues will require graduates who can think across disciplinary boundaries, come up with innovative solutions, and have the capability to translate these into practice. In keeping with our values, Griffith is a university with a deep sense of social justice and inclusion. Few Australian universities have matched Griffith's commitment to bridging the shortfall in the provision of university places in its catchment. We embrace students from a diverse range of backgrounds, particularly our First Peoples, providing them with a life-changing educational experience. Likewise, Griffith's forward-looking focus on issues such as sustainability and engagement with the Asia-Pacific stretches back to our origins in the mid-70s. We do indeed embrace change, and we indeed are future-focused. The Griffith values of innovation, working across disciplinary boundaries, social justice and inclusion, and the future focus will make you stand out in the workplace as a Griffith graduate. While we believe we've prepared you well for whatever might lie ahead, if I've learnt one thing in the past few years, it is that change is inevitable, and that in more recent times the pace of that change has escalated exponentially. We are living in what many would say are increasingly uncertain times, which does present obvious significant challenges for us. The world economy is generally soft, with growth levels of activity that are decidedly sluggish. Jobs are changing in terms of skill requirements, and many of the jobs of today may no longer exist in 5 to 10 years' time. Digital disruption is an ongoing fact of life that will be with us at least for the foreseeable future. And the political landscape across many countries is problematic to say the least, with significant civil unrest. But there are other challenges as well, which are probably closer to home. Rebuilding our faith in the democratic system of government is one. Maintaining social cohesion, data security, health in the ageing population, and of course, let us not forget the challenge of managing and dealing with climate change. But on a slightly more positive note, I am confident that the challenges can be met and dealt with. However, the challenges will require new ways of thinking and new and creative solutions found. And I'm sure you, our graduates, potentially will have an important role to play in meeting those challenges. The intellectual toolkit that you have acquired in your time at the university will equip you well to deal with many of the inevitable changes over your lifetime. However, the academic content will need to be updated throughout your career. Lifelong careers are no longer guaranteed, necessitating supplementation by lifelong learning. Griffith has embraced the need for continuous learning to maintain the currency of your acquired knowledge, and more importantly, to create opportunities for the acquisition of new skills and new knowledge. While I look at today's graduating cohort, I see many things. Perhaps most importantly, you are our future, and I know you are anxious to get on with it. So I won't hold you up, but there are a couple of parting comments that I would like to make. We certainly enjoyed the partnership with you to date. We would like to continue that relationship into the future. So could I encourage you to stay in contact with us as you progress your life and career, wherever that might take you. There are many opportunities to do this. Our alumni network, both in Australia and around the world, is certainly an opportunity that you can tap into. It is important to you, the university, and indeed your fellow alumni. We're also mindful of our lifelong obligation to you to continually refresh our offerings through a range of formal postgraduate qualifications and continuous education in smaller packages that are commonly known by the name of micro-credentials. The new offerings will increasingly have the opportunity for flexible delivery through face-to-face, digital, or completely online, according to your needs for flexibility. I hope that as you leave the ceremony, you will embrace the responsibility of being our newest ambassadors, and hence a very important part of Griffith's future. And I use the term ambassador advisedly because you effectively represent your university wherever you might go and wherever your career might take you. You have a great story to tell, and you should never be afraid to tell it. So graduates, could I leave you with just one last thought? And that is one that has been very near and dear to my heart over many years. Never forget the community that supported you on your journey, and be prepared to step up when opportunities arise to give back to that community. You will never regret it, and of course, consistent with those core Griffith values of social justice and responsibility that you've been exposed to in your time with us. I know from my own personal experience that giving back and sharing with the community is an immensely satisfying thing to do. Indeed, many of you have already started to give back financially by contributing to the 2019 graduating class donation to the Griffith Student Future Fund. For those that have participated, I say well done and thank you. In conclusion, let me offer my warmest congratulations to each and every graduate here present on your achievements. Thank you again for the opportunity for our university, indeed it is very much your university, to play a part with your life's ambitions and aspirations. Thank you.
Chancellor, Professor Susan Ford from Arts Education and Law will now present graduands who are to receive their awards at this ceremony.
Chancellor, I present graduates from Arts Education and Law who are to receive awards. Bachelor of Fine Art, Max Athens Kasulke. Melissa Atkinson. Ashley Becks. Maggie Borgia. Lyubov Chehunova. Robin Erskine. Erin Green. Kate Horling. Edwin Hamill. Natalie Houston. Emma Hutton. Kathy Mack. Zita Masters. Jennifer Payne. Emily Puxty. Stefania Shevchenko. Madeline Smith. Molly Smith. Lydia Sparksman. Charlotte Taylor. Caitlin Turner. Chancellor, that concludes the first presentation of graduates from Arts Education and Law.
Would you please join me in welcoming Duncan Gardner from Queensland Conservatorium, Griffith University. Thank you, Duncan. Chancellor Professor Susan Ford from Arts Education and Law will resume the presentation of graduates.
Chancellor, I present graduates from Arts Education and Law who are to receive awards from the following programs. Bachelor of Fine Art with Distinction, Conchita Hurst. Lachlan McKee. Jill Sampson. Bachelor of Fine Art, Honours, Tristan Isles. Chancellor, the following graduate has been awarded the University Medal for Outstanding Academic Achievement: Michelle Vine. Darcy Williams. Bachelor of Games Design, Dylan Boundy. Fiona West's thesis examined distance and immediacy, investigating narratives of portability. Chancellor, I present Dr. Fiona West. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates from Arts Education and Law.
Chancellor, I now take great pleasure in inviting Clancy Enkelmeyer, Bachelor of Musical Theatre graduate, to present the student address. Clancy.
Good afternoon, Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, distinguished guests, administrative staff, fellow graduates, family, and friends. When I was thinking of what to write for this speech, I went to the internet searching for inspiration. I found many, let's say, unconventional speeches, slam poetry, raps, elaborate musical numbers, and even an interpretive dance or two. So today I have prepared for you the dance of the lonely graduate. I'm kidding, of course. I wouldn't put it past a musical theatre student to do that, but I am actually kidding. Instead of tacking on bells and whistles, I just thought I'd take this time to thank a few people. To our friends and family, thank you. Thank you for being there for us around every turn, every late-night study session, and every tear-filled writing of an admittedly mediocre assignment. You have supported us through the lows and celebrated with us through the highs. So thank you. To the teachers and professors, thank you. Since first year, I have learned so much, not just about my chosen field, but about myself. I can say with confidence that I'm not the same person now that I was going into first year. Through your care and tuition, I have grown into the person I wanted to become when I came into the course. You have prepared us for the tempestuous future that lies ahead of us and have armed us with the skills to weather that storm. So thank you. And finally, thank you to my peers. I honestly don't know what I would do without you all. Our classes have taught us so much, but what I treasure the most from this course is getting to know each and every one of you. I know that in all of you, I have a shoulder to cry on, a couch to crash on, and a ride home from the airport when I can't afford an Uber. My fellow graduates, I want you all to look back on what you have achieved with pride. Now, I want you to look forward with hope of the possibilities to come. Chancellor, in closing, I am pleased to present you with a donation to the Students' Future Fund. This fund supports students who are excelling at their studies, but due to financial or personal hardship, are struggling. Griffith is committed to providing more scholarships to those in need. Chancellor, on behalf of this graduating cohort, please accept this donation to the Students' Future Fund. We hope this will benefit future students in need at Griffith University.
graduates, families and friends, Vice-Chancellor and President, Professor Carolyn Evans.
Well, first of all, thank you so much, Clancy, for speaking on behalf of the class today and for speaking rather than dancing on behalf of everybody. It was an important reminder that the success, the enormous success that all of you have achieved today has been achieved in part because of the support of all of those around you. We're now privileged to hear from today's occasional speaker, Mr. Chris Stewart. Chris Stewart is a creative industry executive and artistic leader with a key focus on cultural production, major events and organisational growth. As the artistic director of the Brisbane Powerhouse, he oversees more than 1,500 performances and stakeholder events every year and produces such festivals as the Brisbane Comedy Festival, the Australian Performing Arts Market, World Theatre Festival, the Wonderland Festival and the Queensland Cabaret Festival. He's the inaugural Creative Director of Technology and Creative Event Curiosity Brisbane and was the Artistic Director and CEO of the Festival of Voices, the national festival celebrating the instrument of voice. Chris was also the founding Executive Director and co-CEO of the New South Wales-based alternative and independent arts sector event, the Sydney Fringe. He was the founding Executive Director and CEO of the New York Musical Theatre Festival, the world's largest annual music theatre event, and the founding Director of New Musicals Australia, which was an Australian Council-funded body charged with the development of new Australian musicals. Through his production company, Red Sand Media Partners, Chris was one of the producers of the feature film Red Hook, and upon returning to Australia, he worked as resident director of the musical Wicked in Australia for the Gordon Frost organisation, which has been seen by over 1 million audience members. As an artistic director, Chris has created new collaborations with the Museum of Old and New Art, the Paley Centre Museum of TV and Radio, Brighton Digital Festival, the 92nd Street Y, the ABC, Madison Square Garden Radio City Entertainment, Australian VR Film Festival, the Queensland, many festivals and other events. So I won't go through them all. But he does continue to practice as a working artist, having directed more than 60 productions for companies as diverse as Gordon Frost Organisation, the Kelvin Jacobson Corporation, Opera Australia, the Melbourne Theatre Company, Opera Queensland, the Production Company, State Opera of South Australia, International Management Group, Tasmania Theatre Co, and the Next Wave Festival and Gateway Playhouse. He's therefore a wonderful person to speak to you about his experiences today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Chris Stewart.
I'd like to acknowledge Vice-Chancellor and President Professor Carolyn Evans and also acknowledge the fact that hearing that biography read out somehow seemed longer than it did to live it. So note to self, edit biography. I'd also like to acknowledge the Chancellor, Mr. Henry Smurden AM, as well as the distinguished guests we have here today, First Nation friends who are here, but also especially the family members who have been lucky enough to be sitting up in B Reserve, especially those who were told by their children, please don't shout and holler when I get up to accept my degree. I hope you didn't listen to a word of them. Don't start listening to your children now just because they're university graduates. Though I would like to note, Vice-Chancellor, it seemed that maybe the opposite was true for the musical theatre graduates who have obviously trained their family and friends to cheer often and loudly, which I think is an excellent education, and I hope agents are taking note. I'm really honoured to be here today and standing in front of you guys, this sea of caps and capes, like a very restrained version of the Avengers, and it is a tremendous honour that Griffith University has offered me the chance to wear this gown today and to not move my head very quickly because I wasn't able to attend my own graduation. Many years ago, 55 BC, I graduated from a university, but instead of attending an event like this, I had rushed off to do my very first gig because I was a bit worried I wouldn't get the chance to do a second one. And as someone who graduated from a theatrical training institution, I've always lived with deep regret that I missed out on such a fantastic chance to genuinely frock up. So I'm very, very glad to be here today. And while I have no memories of finishing my course, I have very strong memories of beginning it. Strangely, I studied with an acting training course, and what I'd heard before starting there was on the very first day, as a way of kind of letting you know how tough it is out in the real world. They would tell you to look around the room, see all of your peers sitting there, and know that a big percentage of these people wouldn't be there by the time you finish your course. Now, that was a complete urban myth. And actually what happened when I started the course is we were met by a very Dumbledore-looking head of school, and what he said was, creativity and performance is not something that can be taught, but something that can be learned. And as someone that was starting a relatively expensive university course, I found that deeply dissatisfying to hear. I ended up training as a musical theatre director, which I sort of stumbled backwards into without necessarily planning to do that. But luckily it suited me, because I never really had the personality to be a painter or a novelist or arguably a doctoral candidate. What I really enjoyed was collaboration. What I really liked was the chance to work with other people. I maybe got bored in my own company. I wrote this speech a couple of days ago. I'll read you this next section. I'm probably the only person that can truthfully say that through musical theatre, I learned the most important things in life. Now, having heard the previous speech, Clancy, and seen some of the people here today, I know I'm not the only person that has learnt important lessons through musical theatre. And they aren't just how to do spectacular jazz hands and how to make a very dramatic exit. But what I truly learned, what I think we've all learned, and the thing that I'd like to mention to you today, was the power of other people. Personally, I like to do musicals because they are complex. They take a lot of different people and a lot of different perspectives to make happen. They need an open space where people can contribute ideas, where the best idea wins. Like everything important, that's how they're made. Like everything important in life, they're started by a group of people sitting in a room with just enough in common to get along. On that day of my graduation, I was doing my first show, and during the very first week, I got some advice from the director that I've always kept with me, and that was, always spend the first week saying yes. He said that because there's always ample time to change things, but there's never another chance for people to hear you say yes, to hear you be open to their contributions, to draw out their ideas, for them to realise they're respected and we are all making something together and we're all better for it. What I didn't know when I started at uni, and certainly when I finished, was the number of people who were going to be important in my life who were sitting around me at that time. These were people that I would continue to collaborate with and make things with throughout my life. I mean, if you looked around you now, it maybe doesn't feel like it yet. But if you're lucky, the people sitting around you today who have probably annoyed you and excited you over the last few years in probably equal measure, they are the people you'll be making things with for the rest of your life. And it is those things that you should start doing tomorrow. Stop thinking about a job and the phrase entrance level, and start thinking about people like you, people you know, people who you think are awesome, and start making stuff. Start being creative. Creativity is the thing that makes us different from monkeys. It's not math, because I'm sure orangutans can count. It's creativity. It's recognising problems. It's finding new and unique ways to solve things. It's having a unique perspective, a new perspective, your perspective, a new way to view the world. Creative thought gathers momentum when you collaborate with others, where you build and build each creative idea brick by brick upon each other. And in your generation, creative pursuits will go from arguably a luxury career to the only viable career to pursue. If you want to future-proof yourself, the core skills you need are empathy, the ability to collaborate and be creative. That's your value. It's a lot easier to potentially perfect artificial intelligence than it is to create artificial emotional intelligence, and it's worth it. The Hills hoist and the personal computer, the bladder inside box wine and Google, as well as every novel, every play, and every great first album, these were all made by people in living rooms and garages. You will make the future, you'll make it with your friends, and you'll make it in your living room. And don't sit here today and look out that door as if that's where the future is. Look to each other and then smash through those doors and take the future over. We need you guys to fix it and build it. Collaborate together to see and create the future we need. What you make, that's your legacy. So go home, take off the gown, maybe not in that order, and start. Thank you very much.
Well, Chris, thank you so much for being here with us today and sharing those wonderful words of optimism and humour and a belief in the future, a celebration of creativity, of collegiality, of the importance of other people and the importance of humanness. We're very pleased that you could have your de facto graduation here with us today and your opportunity to frock up. Now, Chancellor, we've reached that point of the ceremony where it's time to bid farewell to our graduates. Class of 2019, congratulations, you did it. Some of you will have sailed through. It's been all pleasure and all fun from start to end. For most of you, there have been a few struggles along the way, perhaps for some really hard hurdles that you've had to overcome. It's required hard work, resilience, many things though that will stand you in good stead in the years to come, as well as the good friends that you've made here today. This is a really important moment in time, a great milestone. I hope you and your family and your friends take a moment to really celebrate all that you've achieved. But we do hope it's only a moment in your relationship with us. As the Chancellor said, once you graduate, that's not the end of your relationship with Griffith. You become one of our over 200,000 alumni based all over the world. People who are doing all sorts of amazing and wonderful things, changing their communities, living out all of the skills and the talents they've learned here at Griffith, and hopefully staying really connected to us. We're really looking forward to hearing what you do with your life, with your degree. We may see some of you back here for another degree one day, but we hope to see all of you over time at our various alumni events, continuing to make contributions to the university and continuing to make us proud. So, Chancellor, it just remains for me to ask you and others on the dais to join me in congratulating the Griffith graduating class of 2019.
Graduates, families and friends, the ceremony is now concluded. When the music begins, please rise and remain standing in your place as the dais procession and graduates leave the hall.